Hello, my love. Happy birthday. I hope you're well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. And let's get into your reading. Let's see. You wanted general. General, let's go. All right. First card is Six of Pentacles in the reverse position, King of Pentacles in the reverse position. Ooh, the Star card, and then the Hangman. I like this. So you have two bigger life lessons coming through. If not life lessons, then energies that you will experience. So these are coming from the Star card in the upright position and the Hanged Man. What's interesting to me about this is we have water and we have air. So we have like an inner world, a feeling, and then being able to detach from those feelings. So you're not really like wallowing in them or getting lost in the sauce of those feelings, which is really great. I really like this. So the hangman has a halo over his head. So this represents divine protection. If you're into any type of protection, rituals, prayers, mantras, now is the time to go ahead and increase those, or at least keep doing what you've been doing regarding those particular rituals. Just really remembering that your boundaries are protective. It doesn't have to be always this thing of like, angels are protecting me and spirits are protecting me. They absolutely can be, right? And if you call upon them, then they will be in your experience. However, boundaries are protective. So don't forget that saying no in its most simplest form means that you're protected. Protection can be this idea like no harm will come to you. So we have physical harm, which obviously we can't guarantee in a world where it's wild and crazy, but it can also be this emotional and mental harm. So there's things that will arise within you that you're going to have to say no to. There's going to be like old stories, negative, limiting beliefs, and you're going to have to say no to those things, kind of let them exist, but don't entertain them to the point that you go down the rabbit hole and then believe that they're real. So there's a lot of protection, like I said, coming up in the hangman, but all of this is very illuminating. That's where the halo is over the head for. It represents this inspiration coming out of the mind. It represents a higher sense of self coming to you. So you're connected with something beautiful, something greater, which I really like. The star card, like I mentioned, is a card of detaching from those feelings that are serving to teach you something, right? They're letting you know, hey, I have some needs and those needs can be met. Detaching from where you might be pivoting into like wallowing or victimhood is so, so, so important. The star is like, remember, every day really is a new day. And even if it's kind of boring and it's like very routine, you can ask to be inspired. Like that's your right. It is a choice. It's a choice to wake up and to not ask. It is a choice to wake up and to exercise your free will and say, inspire me today. I want to be inspired. I want to be inspired by my kids. I want to be inspired by my laundry. I want to be inspired by whatever. I'm so like really detaching again from those emotions and those mental stories that are not helping you be at ease, be at hope, be in a space of you're just content. It is something that is cultivated, right? So if you practice it a couple of times and then you find yourself kind of falling back into old patterns, know that that's so normal. But I feel like the star is like you're balancing your chakras, you're getting your energy in a place that feels much more balanced to me, much more in harmony. I feel like there's more allowing happening for you in all aspects, not just like what's going on internally, because you're not really resisting thoughts and feelings coming up. You're not shaming yourself because whatever's there is there. Um, so allowing within yourself, but then also allowing other people to really be who they are. Especially if there's been some rigidity recently, I feel like Spirit is saying this is the time to just like change your perspective. You don't always have to think about something the ways that you have been thinking about it. And a great way to look at whether you're connecting or disconnecting is analyzing your thoughts and asking yourself, is this thought making me right in this situation? Am I trying to be like prove something or whatever? Or am I more interested in connecting to the person, just kind of understanding like what's going on? So more allowing of like all things, which is a really nice place to be. It doesn't mean approving of stuff that's like totally crazy. It just means you let it exist and you're not as bothered by things and you're a little more detached in a healthy way. So with your King of Pentacles reversed and your Six of Pentacles reversed, this is just giving it's definitely time to keep focusing on money, focusing on career, focusing on the development of those things in your life. I think it's really important to, yeah, just kind of maintain your queendom. That's like a huge part of the really the King of Pentacles. But with the King of Pentacles in the reverse position, this can be focusing on an abundant mindset, even if there is some limitations and some things you guys are trying to figure out. If there's like unexpected bills and things like that, the test is, can you create a sense of safety in your body, even though the bank account might not be able to cover the unexpected bill at this moment? There is a little test of faith coming forward from you and for your family as well, but you're a leader. King of Pentacles wouldn't be here if you were not a leader. So, as a way shower for your kiddos in terms of how they look at money throughout the course of their life, right? And how your partner can also see you as someone who can soften around money. Um, there's this, yeah, softening around money. That's how I can say it, which I like. Six of Pentacles in the reverse position. This can be asking for support, asking for resources, finding new resources, which I really like for you guys, especially with whatever you got going on. You don't deserve to feel like so stretched and like stressed out all the time. But the Six of Pentacles has a message. It's like, look at unconventional places or places that you might be like resisting, because that's where support can be. And then check in with like why you might be resisting. Why might you be resisting? Let's see what else we get here. Okay, Ten of Swords in the reverse position. Love this because Spirit is saying again, that mindset. I really just keep getting a strong message of like the work you've been putting in is paying off, because I know you do a lot of mindset work and I know you do a lot of like bringing yourself back to presence and taking those deep breaths and even organizing thoughts for yourself, deciding that no matter how wild it might be in your mind, you're going to focus on something time and time again. You're going to tell yourself that story time and time again. You're going to work on believing that story time and time again. That effort is going to be paying off if it hasn't already started paying off. And this, again, I believe is what reinforces your connection to something higher than you and your connection to self. It's what reinforces that sense of optimism and hope, knowing like, all right, I've been through some dark and twisties, but they don't last for forever. And that knowing is a very inspiring place for you to be. The Ten of Swords is like you're releasing limitations, mental limitations on yourself, on the world, on other people, on how support comes to you, on what's possible. Things are very expansive in the Ten of Swords in the reverse position, which I love. I love that so much. And the little mudra here is the mudra of peace. So if you've been calling in peace, you will be experiencing it. And don't forget, of course, like you can recreate that in your body. It's a little harder if you're activated, of course, but that's, I think, why like those 5 minutes in the morning, before the kids get up and you got to do all the things, it's like so important. It's so important to protect that space. Okay. Ooh, and then the Six of Cups in the reverse position. This is interesting. You have two sixes reversed. I'm going to pull a clarifier. Okay. Your clarifier is the Knight of Swords in the reverse position. So it's really giving this energy of like temptation. So a little knock at the door to engage in things that they're glittery, they're gold, but uh that distract you. That distract you from what really matters to you. So I'll say this now that we have a little more context with these cards. Take a little time and reflect on like your values, on what matters to you, what gives you a sense of purpose, what gives you a sense of meaning in this world, and let those be the things that you focus on. Because with the Six of Cups in the reverse position, we do sometimes have people from our past reaching out. I have seen that happen in that card. That plays on that like nostalgia energy. This can also just be like echoes of the past. I've seen this card come up in like too much drug use, too much alcohol use, like escapism. So if that could be like binging Netflix, and I'm not saying that there's not a time and space for fun and pleasure. However, if it is a place, if it's happening to the point that you're not focusing on what you really value, that's where you want to just kind of readjust your use of those things and find a more appropriate way to put them in your life. Knight of Swords in the reverse position is the card of distraction. So that's why, like, I think there are things that you need to get really clear on and focused on. And then naturally, when we say we are focused on this thing, I really feel like we get tested, and spirit will be like, but are you? But are you? And then all these old things come back. And then it might be this thing of like, you really have to boundary up that mind and say, but these are my new values, or this is a value that I'm going back to. And this thing that's tempting me doesn't align with this value. So I'm not going to entertain it as good as it looks, as much as I might want it in this moment. It just doesn't work for me anymore. So I do think, yeah, you got a little bit of test coming up, but that's also not surprising given how much how much stuff is in retrograde right now. Like it's kind of crazy. But I do think again, given that you have the hangman and the star, these tests are something that you pass. But it's a test, so it's going to be something that, pushes you. It's going to be a little bit like stressful and kind of this is supposed to mean like a grading energy. Like, you feel that pressure, but it's not a bad thing. If anything, it's something that shows you like how much strength you have, how much creativity you have, how much what's the word? How much power you have really. In saying no and in focusing on what matters to you. There's a lot of distractions in this world, girl. But the star tells me that like your energy is very aligned. You have beautiful beacons of hope coming in because I think you've already grown so much. So don't hesitate to reflect on your growth. And then the Hanged Man. I really love this card. I know it throws people for a loop. But like this person here is not there by accident. In the story of the hangman, this individual intentionally decided to be put in this position. So in that is like a recognizing, like you're saying to the universe, hey, I value these things. And then everyone else is going to tell you what you should value that doesn't match up with your values. You'll find that friction just by deciding that you care about something. It's crazy. But the hangman, again, it looks at all different perspectives. It really softens, it understands, like, okay, societally, women are conditioned to be told we have to value this. Um, Financially, we're told we have to value this. Running a household means you're supposed to value this over this, right? All these things. But when you see where those things come from, they're not a threat. You just recognize, like, okay, that's someone's opinion. Okay, that's part of a system. Okay, that's part of a doctrine belief system that doesn't really matter to me. And it's not this thing where you become so like defensive or feel like you're struggling with or feel like a victim in. So that's what I mean by like there's this higher knowledge coming through, this like softening, this allowing, this accepting again of yourself and others when you find yourself in a space of kind of believing in an old conditioned limiting belief. So much beautiful growth for you. I'm so honored to have done this reading. Thank you so much for choosing me. I hope it serves you. Of course, message me on Instagram. Let me know. I'm sure you're going to want to take notes and watch it a couple times, but I will talk to you later. And happy birthday. Bye.